As someone who spends a disproportionate amount of time talking about the financial independence retire early movement, I'm often told facts by people who are questioning the legitimacy of me being able to retire early, and I completely get it. An early retirement at 40 isn't normal. It seems extreme, and to some it probably is. But by presenting it with these extreme views, it makes it seem as though financial independence and early retirement for the masses is an unobtainable goal, and I disagree. Is it hard? Yep. Is it getting harder to achieve? Also yes. But is it obtainable for many? Well, I'd argue that yes as well. Achieving financial independence is definitely on the far end of the spectrum, away from the norm, because most people aren't saving enough for a normal retirement at age 60, let alone retiring in their 40s. But if you break it down into the principles of earning more, spending less, and investing as much as you can, then it's hard to disagree with the core steps on the journey towards financial independence. Admittedly, some of the facts that people use as arguments do hold some semblance of truth, and that's what makes them believable. And these comments are often supported by stories in the press where those who have achieved financial independence or an extremely early retirement live on super low household spending or have huge savings rates of 70 or 80%. These stories are popular because they are compelling, but they are extreme examples in the FIRE movement as well, and more often not the norm. As always, I'm here to try and provide an objective view on personal finance, and in today's video I'm questioning the top 5 myths about FIRE and early retirement so that you can make your own informed decisions. My name is Connor, and on this channel I help people like you to earn more, save more and invest for their future. If you find this content useful, please like the video, subscribe to my channel and share it with someone who might also benefit from it. Myth number 1. You must save 50% and make huge sacrifices to retire early. It's true that the greater percentage of your income that you save and invest for early retirement, the quicker you're going to get there. However, many people are happy to save 20 or 25% on autopilot through their workplace pension to achieve an early retirement in their 50s. If we look at the 20% savings rate as an example and use an average rate of return of 8% throughout the investing timeline, then it would take 37 years to reach your FIRE number, where you can withdraw 4% from your investments annually. If you're someone who's just about finishing university and starts putting money towards their early retirement, then you would be able to retire financially free at the age of 59. Of course, those who want to retire in their 30s or 40s would have to save significantly more to achieve their goal, but that's entirely up to them. It's their choice if they want to, and many people do. When you begin on the path towards early retirement, it becomes infectious. You make decisions to reduce your spending, not because you feel that you need to, but because you want to put this money to work for you instead of spending it. Saving more does not mean sacrificing your quality of life, but rather spending money only where you truly value it and saving everywhere else. Personally, travel is my non-negotiable. I like skiing in the winter and sun in the summer. We have a healthy budget for travel in retirement, as we did when we were saving towards it. Conversely, there are things that I will never spend money on. I have personally never ever ordered from Just Eat because I can't stand those delivery fees or transaction fees. All of those things, they add up, they're useless. There are of course stories of those people who live on extreme budgets and practice frugality to achieve FIRE in record time. Who am I to disagree when someone makes such choices, as long as they're happy, right? Myth number 2. Early retirement doesn't mean sitting around and never working again. This is probably the most common myth people mention to me when I explain that I'm retired. The expectation is that traditional retirees dawdle about, tend to their garden, and wind down in their later years taking endless cruises and drinking pina coladas. Of course, this actually sounds pretty good, but as someone who is retired at 40, I still have a lot to give, lots to learn, and the rest of the world to explore. In my first 6 months of early retirement, I have done so much. I actually don't even know where I had the time to work. And it's important to note that being financially independent means that you have the choice to work for money if you want to. I'd argue that I've contributed more to society in these 6 months of creating content than I ever did before. The answer to this myth is of course that early retirement gives you the choice. This past few weeks, we've had unseasonably great weather. Look, I am tanned for a change. There's been a heat wave and it's been class. I decided I was going to take time off from creating content, and I did for the most part. I've enjoyed the sunshine, I've played more golf, and I'm teaching my daughter how to ride her bike. There will always be time to create articles or put videos on YouTube, and I can choose when to be productive and when to lie on the sun lounger for the entire day. When I left work, I initially felt the overwhelming need to be productive every single minute. The decompression phase of early retirement takes time, and when you don't need to work for money, you become much more specific in your intent. I value my free time more than anything else. I have earned the right to do so. So working for money, or indeed for free, must fulfill a specific need or provide me with a benefit. I have said no to more coffees and chats in the past 6 months because, well, there's no inherent benefit to me, and I make no apologies for that. Myth number 3. FIRE is only for high earners. The amount you earn is secondary to the percentage you save when it comes to achieving financial independence. Earning a large income doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to FIRE though. Many of those making big money have huge spending habits or lifestyles that require significant sums, and it's often harder for these people to reduce their spending. Maybe not physically, but from an emotional point of view. And let's go back to myth number 1 for a second. Is giving up on your third holiday for the year a huge sacrifice or a choice? It of course depends on your goals. But make no mistake, if you are a high earner, then it can be easier to achieve FIRE than someone who is on a lower income. I mentioned in my last video that before I started my business, my biggest salary was £20,000 per year. Very quickly in that business, my income grew to many multiples of this. As the income grew and was continuing to grow, I held back my lifestyle and I spent relatively similar to when I was earning £20,000, and this was the catalyst to my FIRE journey. Being on a lower income will restrict your ability to achieve financial independence, that's the truth, but it won't close it off entirely. If you can continue to live on your current income amount and put any pay rises or income from side hustles away for your future, you can massively increase your savings rate and achieve early retirement. I have one client who similarly to me had a lower paying role, but over the past decade their income has grown through a side hustle where their day job and their workplace pension is paying 8% a year into the retirement funds. Through their side hustle they have increased their income by 20% over here, and all of that money is also being invested for their future. In 2 evenings a week they have increased their savings rate to nearly 30% and have all but guaranteed an early retirement. Myth number 4. The next recession will end the FIRE movement. Since I started on my path to retirement, we were coming from the 2007 banking crisis and we lived in the longest bull run in history. I have no doubt that this contributed to my success and that of many people like me. Since then, we have had the pandemic, and during which my investments declined by over 30%. Following that, we've also had to factor in the cost of living crisis and the war in Ukraine. There will always be challenges to face, and of course, plans will have to change because of this. And that is the beauty of FIRE. If things change and your financial position means that you can no longer afford an early retirement, you fall back to the default position that everyone else is in. You might need to earn some money or dip into a larger percentage of your investments for a short period of time. You have the choice to do so and the knowledge to understand that you may need to replenish these funds. Let's say that you have a shortfall in your retirement funds of 10% this year. Well, if your budget is £30,000 a year, you would need then to earn £3,000 to meet this shortfall. These days, you could probably earn that in a weekend with just a couple of pictures of your toes, or you could work a few hours a week in a lower paying job. And of course, this does assume that you're drawing down your funds in early retirement. But a recession, when you're accumulating your wealth, can be a good thing. When stocks are on sale, fill your boots, as they say. Though I have to admit, the stock market is the only place in the world where people stop buying when it's on sale. Funny that. Myth number 5. Early retirement is impossible if you want a family. According to the Money Charity, the average cost of raising a child in the UK is £27.90 per day. Kids can of course be costly, but in reality they are only as expensive as you allow them to become. Yes, this additional cost can add years to your working career, but in no way will it stop you from retiring, as long as you plan for it. From a financial perspective, if we budget for children and their costs, we can create a plan to afford them. Buying a larger house, taking more people on holiday, or even feeding extra mouths at home may delay your retirement, but these additional costs don't last forever, well we hope, and when the children have flown the nest, the money you save can supercharge your investing. Many people do choose to forgo children, and some of these people of course do it for financial reasons and their will to retire early. But in my opinion, these people are the exception. For every story like this you read in the press, I can share you a comparable one with a family exploring early retirement together, and they are so inspirational. The financial independence retire early movement can often be portrayed in a less than endearing manner. Sacrifices and challenges make great headlines, and of course they are often true, but extreme situations make the opportunity of achieving financial independence seem so far removed from the norm, because for the most part they are, and that's even to me. As always, thank you so much for watching my channel, and I hope I've answered some of the myths about financial independence and retiring early in an objective manner. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a message below, and if you like what I have to say or found it informative, please subscribe to my channel and share it with somebody who might benefit also. See you in the next video. Bye bye.